For us, the Red Kingdom, the 2023 season was a test of faith. We watched games with our hearts in our throats, not because of Patrick Mahomes' genius, but because of the drops that seemed to multiply like rabbits. Every pass that hit hands and fell to the turf was a knife to the soul, a painful reminder of the gaping hole left by Tyreek Hill. We survived, we won the Super Bowl because that's what we do, but the scar was there. And then the 2025 NFL Draft happened. Brett Veach did what seemed impossible. He brought in not one, but two supersonic solutions. With the arrival of Hollywood Brown, and most importantly, the drafting of Xavier Worthy, the fastest man in NFL Combine history, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't just fix a problem, they turned a weakness into a nuclear weapon. The news about the Chiefs' plan for Xavier Worthy has been the hottest topic since the last parade. Worthy isn't just a player, he's the personification of hope, the promise that the days of dropped passes are over. He is pure speed, a red and gold blur ready to torch opposing secondaries. But the question every fan is asking while dreaming of 70-yard bombs is more complex. What is the real plan from Andy Reid and Dave Taub for this secret weapon? Is it as simple as run fast in a straight line? Or is there something more? A master plan being drawn up behind the scenes to take our dynasty to a historic three-peat? Let's start with what makes the heart of a veteran Chiefs fan beat faster, the special teams. Dave Taub, our special teams coordinator, who to us is a kind of Yoda of kick returns, could barely contain his smile when talking about Xavier Worthy. And here comes the first why. Why do we get so excited about the possibility of Worthy being a returner? Because it's in our DNA. Those of us who saw Dante Hall, the human joystick, break the ankles of entire teams and who witnessed the first glimpses of Tyreek Hill's genius on punt returns know the power of a game-changing special teams play. To have a weapon like Worthy and only use him on offense would be like opening a pickle jar with a bazooka, effective but a waste of potential. Taub was clear, Worthy will be the punt returner. He didn't just compare him to Tyreek, but also to Dexter McCluster and Dante Hall. That's not a simple compliment, it's a coronation. The idea of seeing Worthy in the open field with space to use his 4.21-second speed is something that gives us chills. It's the promise of a touchdown at any moment. It's the chance to ignite Arrowhead and change the momentum of a game in the blink of an eye. But let's be honest, we didn't draft the fastest man in history just to be a returner. The main course is his role in Andy Reid's offense, and this is where the real challenge begins. Worthy's speed is what got him to Kansas City, but it will be his intelligence that keeps him on the field. Andy Reid's playbook isn't a coloring book, it's a NASA engineering manual written in Sanskrit. We've seen talented receivers with a low football IQ get completely lost in our system. The complexity of the routes, the pre-snap reads, the adjustments, all of it requires a mental processor as fast as his legs. And this is where Big Red's optimism comes into play. Reid praised Worthy, calling him a very intelligent kid who gets football. Why is this statement perhaps the most important of all? Because it tells us the coaching staff doesn't see Worthy as a gadget player, a one-trick pony. They see him as a complete receiver, capable of learning and executing the entirety of our offensive scheme. Speed is the tool, but the mind is the hand that wields it. The plan here is clear. Integrate Worthy gradually but completely into the offense. He won't just be the fly route guy. He will learn the silent chemistry with MAHOMES that turn good plays into legendary moments. It's impossible to talk about Xavier Worthy without the ghost of Tyreek Hill appearing in the conversation. The comparison is inevitable, but it's also lazy. And this is where we need to dive deeper. Why isn't Xavier Worthy simply the new Tyreek? Because the ecosystem around him is completely different, and the plan for him is much more sophisticated. When Tyreek the Freak Hill exploded onto the scene, he was our only elite speed weapon. He was the solution to a problem. Xavier Worthy, on the other hand, arrives in a luxury scenario. He isn't the solution, he's a force multiplier. Think about it. Opposing defenses will already have to worry about Hollywood Brown's speed on the other side. They will still have to dedicate double or triple coverage to Travis Kelce in the middle. They will have to keep an eye on Rashee Rice. Where, in the name of Len Dawson, are they going to find another defender to cover the fastest man in the history of the sport? Worthy isn't the centerpiece of the offense, he's the final piece of a horror puzzle for defensive coordinators. Reid's plan isn't to recreate what we had with Tyreek, it's to create something new, something even more lethal. With great firepower comes great responsibility, load management. And this is perhaps the most genius and underrated part of the Chiefs' plan for Xavier Worthy. The coaching staff, especially Andy Reid and Dave Taub, are war-tested veterans. They know that a 165-pound frame running at supersonic speeds needs to be carefully managed to last an entire season and the playoffs. The risk of soft tissue injuries is real. That's why the messaging has been consistent. Worthy is a receiver who will also return punts, not the other way around. The returns will be a strategic weapon, but not on every single opportunity. Why is this approach so intelligent? Because it maximizes Worthy's impact while minimizing his wear and tear. Reid doesn't want a September hero who's in the medical tent in December. He wants a lethal and healthy weapon for the Super Bowl in February. It's the difference between using a Formula One car for daily grocery runs versus saving it for race day. The resolution here is balance. The plan is to have Worthy be a surgeon's scalpel, not a sledgehammer for every nail. He will be deployed in ways that cause maximum damage to the opponent with minimum of risk to himself. This pragmatic approach is what separates dynasties from one-season wonders. When you put all the pieces together, the master plan for Xavier Worthy becomes clear, and it's terrifying. We are looking at the creation of a multi-level nightmare for NFL defenses. On level 1, you have the elite speed receiver, coached by Andy Reid to be more than just a sprinter. On level 2, you have the explosive returner, a constant touchdown threat under the command of Dave Taub, which changes how opponents approach special teams. And on level 3, the most important one, you have the ultimate distraction piece, a player whose mere presence on the field warps the geometry of the defense, creating one-on-one opportunities for everyone else. It's 4D chess, and Andy Reid is moving his new supersonic queen across the board. For us, the Red Kingdom, Worthy's arrival represents the end of patience and the beginning of a new era of offensive domination. Now, the controversial question I leave for our Red Nation. Is this officially the best and fastest wide receiver corps Patrick Mahomes has ever had, or are we just getting our hopes up again? How about those Chiefs?